Don McLennon, yeah.
And you're here today outside the Brisbane Houses of Parliament in a gathering and protest for freeing Julian Assange and making the world aware of what's happening to him.
Yes, I am here for that purpose.
You care to give us more thoughts on the subject and why you care?
Well, I care about the fact that journalism at the moment has reached the bottom of the barrel in the sense that it's corporate, it's totally disinformative, totally confusing, and when on those rare occasions you get a Snowden or you get an Assange who actually gives us some real information about what's going on, right, war crimes, etc., that man gets persecuted and he's in jail for being an honest man. I mean, that is the irony of it.
May I say something?
Yes.
Well, it's particularly interesting right now that we have two huge wars ongoing and Julian Assange has been in prison the whole time. Ukraine and now Gaza and Israel.
Oh yeah, well I suspect that there's going to be another one soon too, because I think the various non-aligned American nations are, I suppose, getting together to resist, if you like, the form of imperialism that we're suffering under in this world.
Do you think they have benefited from locking Julian Assange away? Because he would have given us the truth on that, wouldn't he?
I think they're in a situation where they feel they have to lock away people who are exposing, secrets. I mean, I can understand to some degree how a country is going to have security secrets, but I think what was happening in the Iraq War, Afghanistan and so forth, the truth of that needs to be exposed, because those wars were unjust. They weren't based on reality. Go back to the Iraq War, the weapons of mass destruction, etc., etc.
Babies in incubators.
And I go back too to the fact that something like 65% of Australians didn't want to go to Iraq and fight.
The last big protest.
Well, we didn't want to, but our government, right, our current government, which is a duopoly in my opinion, I mean, it's the same government whether it's Liberal or Labor, they jumped into it. Under Howard, it was like, yep, if the Americans want to go to war, we go to war. Now, I'm not opposed to America as an entity or a country or whatever, but because they're controlled by the same globalists, if you like, for want of a better word, and we are, right? So there's no actual real nation of Australia or America anymore. It's a sort of a corporate international entity over which the actual citizens of those countries don't really have much power. In fact, practically no power.
How about the secret trials of people talking about war crimes committed by Australian soldiers? David McBride, for instance.
Well, those are trials. I mean, I don't know what the conclusion is of guilt or anything like that. I don't know whether they did commit war crimes, but it seems like they did. One of the unfortunate problems of the modern world is that whether you go to alternative media or mainstream media, you're going to get a lot of confusing stuff, right? You're going to get a lot of disinformation, and it's very difficult. I mean, I've got a nephew who believes the Earth's flat. Right? Now, I can't prove to him that the Earth's round, right? And it's almost like a religious thing. His father's trying to tell him that the Earth's round. And I'm not criticising my nephew, he's a nice young man, but he's been disinformed, in my opinion, by people who are, I think, subverting the non-mainstream media to just confuse you. So you don't know whether, I mean, for all I know, I've never been to America. For all I know, America may not exist. It could be some movie studio over in Western Australia, for all I know.
I've actually been, but fair enough. Maybe they
So you can
diverted
prove
the
it. That's
aeroplane.
good. But you could be working for them, see.
I could, yes.
Go back to Western Australia. No.